Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Rebecca, and today I am excited to be bringing you some Christmas DIY decor. Of course, you know pretty much everything comes from Dollar Tree to make these ideas. If you missed the last video where we did Christmas rustic country type ornaments, I had 9 DIYs. I will leave that video up top here as well as down below in the description box, so be sure to check that out. For today's video, I am really excited about how all of these turned out. Let me know which one of these ideas is your favorite. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy, and also if you haven't already, I hope you'll consider subscribing, joining my YouTube family. I would love to have you. For the first one, I used 3 vases from Dollar Tree and gave them a couple coats of a black chalkboard paint, and once it was all dry, I used a chalk marker to write J-O-Y on these to spell out the word joy. You could also do love, peace, I don't know, what else could you write on these for Christmas? I have these over on my hall side table, and I'm just filling them with some of the floral picks from Dollar Tree. I'm definitely keeping an eye out to get a few more of the flocked ones, although I saw this year that they honestly didn't seem quite as full as the ones that I got last year at Dollar Tree. Did you guys notice that? Or maybe it was just the ones that I looked at this year. So in here, I just have a flocked pick on each end and one of the green ones in the center, along with a silver glitter one in the back. But honestly, I feel like you should probably have 3 instead of 2 picks in each one, and I only had 2 flocked ones, so I alternated with a green one in the center. But you could totally mix and match this however you want, and as you can see, I kind of messed up the white on here a little bit because I moved these a little bit too soon. It wasn't dry yet, so just check before you move them that your vases are dry. Next, I'm using one of these signs from Dollar Tree. I thought we could make it look a little bit less vintage looking by painting the backdrop of the sign with a black chalk paint, which I guess I lost the footage of actually painting it, but you get the idea. I also did the edges and the 2 lines coming down the front so that there would be no brown left showing on here, and I printed a little Christmas wish on here, have yourself a merry little Christmas, and added in some simple snowflake dots. This is super easy to do with just a white chalk marker. I thought I would add one of the winter cardinal floral clips from Dollar Tree, although I started printing too high up, so now if I clip it on, it hides the top letters. So maybe start by clipping on your bird or flowers or whatever you want to put at the top, and then go ahead and print in the space that's left showing. For the next one now, I'm taking one of these sparkly gold reindeer. I think these are so pretty, and I couldn't think of where to put it in the house, so I decided to make some outdoor decor by taking a wooden yardstick off the back of one of these Halloween signs. Don't worry, we're still going to use the top. I hot glued that stick onto the back of the reindeer, and then I also glued a pretty floral pick to both the front and back of that stick. And I think this is just so pretty. You could do it with red and green or with the gold, white, and green. Maybe the red and green one would be best with the red reindeer. I don't know. What do you like better? I ended up kind of deciding to go with the white and the gold because I had this leftover gold ribbon that I wanted to just do a bow with, but whichever way you prefer, that's all there is to it. It's pretty cute and easy to do, and I was thinking maybe like one on each side of your doorway or of your walkway or something like that. It would be so beautiful. Next, I'm using 3 white pails from Dollar Tree. These actually came 3 for $1, which was perfect, along with 3 of the green Christmas trees, which we all know are really sparse and pretty sad looking. The best way that I can think of to fluff up these trees is to just buy an extra pack of the green pine stems that Dollar Tree sells, and then twist those around into the trunk just to give it some extra branches that way and just give it a little more fullness. I just use 1 pack for each tree. I would recommend using some hot glue to attach the ends of the bottom of the tree down into the bottom of the bucket. It's going to help just keep it like a little more stable in there. You could also add some rocks or something like that in the bottom of the pail as well, give it a little more stability. I then wrote on here with a black Sharpie marker. I think this gives the pail kind of that like Ray Dunn inspired look that is so popular. I also wanted to make a sign to go with this, and I had this leftover Halloween sign that, I'm just lightly sanding off some of the glitter that's on here. Otherwise, you could just turn it around and use the back for your sign. I painted over it with a chalk paint, which is pretty thick, and I did do 2 coats, so it mostly covered any lines from the writing or glitter design from before. And then I just used this tree box because I didn't have a ruler, so I used this and penciled on some straight lines to make it look like wooden boards here. Although this wasn't even necessary because I ended up just dry brushing on later some beige and black into here. And anyway, it kind of lost the effect of the board lines anyway. Once it was dry, I used a chalk marker to write cut and carry, and then I printed fir, pine, and spruce on here. Now I came back and I also used the top part off of that Halloween sign that we took off before, and I painted that with a Java chalk paint as well. And once it was dry, I printed Christmas tree farm on here and did like just a very simple arrow as well. I also took some oatmeal chalk paint and I just kind of brushed some of that into the corners. The sign was already dry here, so I just brushed a little bit of paint all the way around on the edges just to kind of give it like that aged wood look. And I glued this one onto the larger sign. Now you could hang this on the wall above your potted trees. I think that would be super cute. But for right now, I actually just have the sign positioned next to them under the table here. This next one would be so cute on a shelf or a table all by itself or as part of a Christmas village set, which is honestly what I was thinking. I started by painting one of the new wooden oval pieces that Dollar Tree's carrying in their new updated craft section. I used some black chalk paint to do this. I love how fast drying the chalk paint is. And once that's dry, which will be pretty quick, I sponged on some brown circles here. Now I'm using a brown acrylic paint because my brown chalk paint is a very dark brown and it was just too dark, so it didn't provide enough contrast between the black and the brown. But you can do this in whatever colors you like. Honestly, I think gray would be the best. If you have a lighter shade of maybe like a lighter brown or gray, I wanted to create the look of like an old cobblestone road. So for the next part now, I wanted to make a hitching post for a horse, and I have 2 ideas here, so let me know which one you think looks better. I tried gluing 3 wooden tumbling tower game blocks like this and painting them brown just to kind of match with the rest of this. And I also tried using the top of this soap dispenser that I had left over from the anthropology inspired vases that I did a couple weeks ago. If you guys saw that DIY, I can leave that video down below if you missed it. But anyway, I had this little silver top and I really loved the look of the silver, but I also like the shape of the wooden one. So let me know which way you think it looks more like a hitching post. And then of course we need our horse. So I placed a little toy horse on here. Dollar Tree does carry some. This was just one left over lying around the house from some of Kylie's old toys. I'm also using one of the little sled ornaments on here, and I put a little tree in the sled so it'll kind of look like we just cut down our fresh Christmas tree. This part is totally optional, and I know some people will love it, some people hate it, but I did a quick mist of adhesive spray and a dusting of sparkling snow on here, and then I just tied a simple piece of cotton twine to make a bridle and reins for the horse. Nothing difficult. I just think that this turned out, it just feels like so fun and cozy for winter time. Honestly, it just kind of makes me happy looking at it. For the next one now, I'm taking one of these fall signs from Dollar Tree, and I love that this is square because I feel like there's just so many things we could do with it. But anyway, for today, I always like to sand off the glitter a little bit if possible first. And then thankfully, chalk paint is pretty thick, so we're going to make a sign here, and the chalk paint does a pretty good job covering the rest of the lines or glitter that's left behind. So I did a Java brown base on here, and then I just did like kind of lines and brushed over that with a beige oatmeal chalk paint, and then also with some white chalk paint. And once it's all dry, I used a white chalk marker to trace the outline of a sauce pot in order to get a circle on here. You can obviously use whatever circle object that you have to trace. This just happened to be what I had on hand that kind of gave me the right size circle that I wanted. So I wrote Merry Christmas on the inside, and I did go over it a few times to get the letters thick enough. I also did a little bit of outlining it with a black marker just to make the letters a little bit more visible. And I did little lines like leaves coming off the circle all the way around like this, and then I just dipped the plastic tip of the paintbrush into some red paint and created red dots at the tips, like berries. If you don't have red paint, a red Sharpie marker might work, I'm not sure, but this red paint was only like 50 cents at Walmart. For the next one, I'm using more of the Tumbling Tower game pieces. I used wood glue to create 2 rows of 4 pieces, 2 rows of 3 pieces, 2 rows of 2 pieces, and then I also used a single piece. Once the glue is dry, I painted all of them black. So I know a lot of you guys always tell me that I need to use better brushes. I'm always just reusing my daughter's Dollar Tree brushes that come in the sets from like the kids painting crafts and stuff like that, but Dollar Tree has this now in their crafters square with small, medium, and large brushes, and I thought we would give these a try. I think they're supposed to be a little bit better than the ones that come in with like the kids painting sets. So I feel like they're kind of stiff. I don't know. They are a little bit stiff, but I think they're a little bit better than some of the other ones that I've gotten in Dollar Tree, and hopefully they're going to work okay. I did order a set on Amazon, so I will share those with you guys pretty soon when I get them in and start using them. But for now, I think this is going to work just fine. Maybe I'll go with this size, like a medium one. Painting the chalk paint on here, I'm going to be using this Java Brown chalk paint, which you guys know I'm always using this one quite a bit. I'm going to just go ahead and paint half of these at a time. And then that way, the chalk paint at least dries really quickly, which is nice. I had a little bit lighter brown color one I was thinking about using, but it was an acrylic paint from Walmart, and I think this one's just going to dry a lot faster. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this with chalk paint, but you can use whatever you prefer. Because this dries so fast, I'm going to just paint half of these, and then by the time I finish, I think they'll already be dry, and I'll be able to probably go back and then pick it up and paint the other side. But honestly, if you prefer to make them white, or maybe even like a dark Christmassy green color, that would be so pretty too. So it's totally up to you. And now I'm coming back and taking 6 single wooden pieces, painting them all brown. Once everything is dry, I started assembling the pieces, starting with a single brown piece as the trunk, and using wood glue to now attach and center the 4-piece row, and then a single brown one, and then another 4-piece row, and then a single brown one, then a 3-piece row, and then another single brown one, all the way up like this, smaller and smaller. And then I had that final black piece glued on at the top, sticking up so that it would kind of look like the top of a Christmas tree. I also did a second tree, kind of the same way, except I wanted the rows to be thicker this time so that if I wanted to write something on them, I could. So this time I did 2 sets of each with 2 rows in each set like this. So each row is 2 blocks high instead of just a single block high. And this is just going to give you a little more room if you want to write a Christmas message or a verse on here. I used a white chalk marker to write on here so it would stand out, but again, you can totally do this however you like, whatever color you prefer to do it in. You could even just leave this whole design like natural wood if you prefer, if that works with your Christmas decor. Totally up to you. I think that would actually be really beautiful as well. The next one is super easy to do. Rather than painting a sign, I actually used this sign from Dollar Tree, just like a template, to trace and cut out a piece of black foam board. But of course you could just trace or measure whatever you want on here just to cut it to the size that you want for your sign. Or honestly, you could use the entire foam board if you want like a really large piece of decor. I cut my sign out using an X-Acto knife because it cuts really, really nicely through the foam board. And then I wrote on some Christmas words and messages on here, kind of in the shape of a tree with smaller words going larger and larger toward the bottom, and of course adding a little star at the top. I did alternate printing and writing in script, and I did a few snowflake dots on here. Not a few, actually I did a lot. And these are just really easy to do with your chalk marker as well, and they just look so pretty. And then to complete the edges, I just kind of dry brushed on some chalk paint, dragging little bits from the outside in toward the middle, not too far in. I honestly just wanted to create a very small border around it like this, and that's all there is to it. But honestly, this costs just cents to make. You could make several of them for like $1. So I think this is a super budget friendly piece of decor, and you can make it in whatever size you want. Let me know which idea was your favorite. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and you're still here. Have a beautiful, blessed day, and I will see you soon in the next one.